Hi, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. The big news this week, President Trump. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm okay. Whew, let's do this. Longish version. Michael Cohen, the president's longtime lawyer and fixer, admitted to paying off 2 women the president slept with in order to influence the election. Because Cohen did this to some extent with his own funds, this is actually potentially a violation of campaign finance law. Meanwhile, Paul Manafort, the president's former campaign head, just went down on 10 counts of tax fraud. This is critical because this is the first person that Mueller brought charges against as part of his pending investigation. This lends credence to what Mueller has been doing and opens the door for many more indictments. Finally, Omarosa, the crazy lady from The Apprentice who was disloyal to everyone, is doubling down on her disloyalty to President Trump by releasing a new tape every week of Trump doing something really bad. The president's response to all of this? He sat down with Fox News and let everybody know without a shadow of a doubt that Cohen did not pay off a Playboy model and a porn star with his own money, but rather with the president's money. Then he tweeted that Omarosa is a dog and Mueller needs to stop his witch hunt. As you can imagine, liberal reaction to all this bad news for the president has been extremely positive. Bad comedian Kathy Griffin posted a video that went viral of her excitedly dancing shirtless to this news. It was gross. Do not watch it. Imagine a grandma elf dancing around naked, and that's pretty much what you've got. Now back to the president. Democrats are screaming from the hills that this is the end for President Trump and that impeachment is close at hand. But is it? I have to say, if this was any other man, it probably would be. But this is President Trump. This is the monster that the media and the Democrats helped create by propping him up with endless media attention. This is the man that has sat atop the longest bull market in our nation's history. The man that has an approval rating of 43%, markedly higher than he did a year ago and rising. For impeachment proceedings to start, the House needs a simple majority. Admittedly, that's possible, especially if the House changes hands with the upcoming midterm elections. But then the case will be tried in front of the Senate, where 67 out of 100 senators have to vote for impeachment. Vote for impeachment against a billionaire that has proven time and time again that he has a penchant for vengeance and is willing to play very dirty. Who's going to do that? And moreover, you know how these politicians are. Who's going to do that to their political detriment? If the case was ironclad, this would be much easier for them. But right now, what do they really have against President Trump? 1. The president paid off hot women for sex. We all knew that. 2. The president is not a particularly moral man. We all knew that. 3. The president is kind of a dick. We all knew that. 4. The president may have violated campaign finance laws. We all suspected that he had, and frankly, Presidents Obama and Bush did the same thing. Hardly raises it to the level of high crimes and misdemeanors necessary for impeachment. So speaking very candidly, barring a true smoking gun that shows the president himself colluding with Russia, no one's going to have the balls to do this. President Trump is not going anywhere. But enough about the corruption associated with the president. Let's talk about corruption associated with the House of Representatives. Marine veteran Duncan Hunter has been indicted on charges that he used $250,000 of campaign finance money for personal vacations, home improvements, and generally living a lifestyle he can't afford. In one particularly damning moment, he wrote off golf balls that he purchased at a country club as t-shirts for wounded veterans. Man, that is some cold shit. He must have learned that level of coldness from like 80% of the veteran charities out there. Yeah, I said it. In entertainment news, the Me Too movement was an extremely successful campaign to bring awareness to sexual harassment and sexual assault among Hollywood elites. One of the key components of this movement was to always believe the victims, regardless of the power or stature of the accused. This week, one of the movement's founders, Asia Argento, was accused by former child star Jimmy Bennett of sexually assaulting him. To their credit, the other Me Too founders quickly jumped in and said, look, let's not be too hasty. Maybe he's not telling the truth. Wait, what? In education news, Betsy DeVos, who heads the Department of Education, is looking at releasing funds for teachers to purchase guns. Her brother and Blackwater founder Eric Prince chimed in with a better idea. Why do we need teachers at all? Let's just install Blackwater and the kids can all learn from the school of hard knocks. In other terrible Eric Prince ideas, he's trying to pitch to Congress and the DOD that the Afghanistan war should be privatized and he should be the one to run it. Let's break that down for a sec. We're going to remove the responsibility for warfare from the body politic and into the hands of people who are literally incentivized to keep that war going indefinitely because that's how they get paid. What could possibly go wrong? I can't think of a thing. And finally, in NASA news, a young woman named Naomi tweeted for everyone to, quote, "Shut the f*** up, I've got an internship at NASA," end quote. When an older gentleman chimed in with simply the word language, Naomi responded somewhat brazenly when she said, quote, "Suck my dick and balls, I'm working at NASA," end quote. To which the gentleman, legendary scientist Homer Hickman, replied, quote, "And I am on the National Space Council that oversees NASA," end quote. In related news, Naomi is no longer an intern at NASA. And now, because we filmed this Thursday night and probably something will happen between now and tomorrow morning that we'll have to add to the news, and I don't want to recut this tomorrow, we're cutting to news correspondent Matthew Finney for whatever it is that Trump did overnight.
Thanks, Nick. Matt Finney here with BNN field correspondent standing in the parking lot. Trump called out Attorney General Jeff Sessions on Twitter for having double standards, basically calling him a nerdy little bitch. The president of the National Enquirer was granted immunity in return for sharing everything he has on Donald Trump in their celebrity safe. Apparently it's quite a lot. And finally, Trump called off Secretary of State Pompeo's trip to North Korea because they didn't live up to anything they said. He was going to ask China for help, but China's super pissed at him for the trade war, so... Oh yeah, and South Africa's super pissed at him too. I'm Matt Finney from the field in the parking lot. Back to you, Nick.
And with that, I'm Nick Palmisciano, and this was this week's Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're getting already, but hey, we would totally beat those guys in a fist fight.